or
It sounded like it was in a well.
LAFuturisNow.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah.
Folks, you heard us talk about Raging Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Raging Cajun
Hey,
delicious
Walker.
line of gumbo, black-eyed peas,
Yeah.
shrimp and grits.
Did Liz
double
Merle
I,
call in? I
seafood
thought she
bits,
was going to be
etouffee,
here.
red beans, roux, jalapenos.
Okay.
Raging
All right. If
Cajun
some reason
products
she
are made
calls,
right
just let
here
me
in
know.
Acadiana now. Thanks to all of y'all, Raging Cajun is one of the fastest growing brands in grocery stores. Raging Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Forget the rest. Ask for the best. Ask them for that Raging Cajun. It's good, folks. Trust me. I love it. You will too.
For electrical problems or upgrades, use A&P Electrical. Their technicians can assist in residential, commercial, and industrial work. Don't leave your electrical to chance. Plug into your #1 electrical source in Acadiana. A&P Electrical for 24-hour emergency repair when something comes up at the worst time. Call A&P Electrical at 337-856-8383. That's 856-8383. The price won't you. When it comes to electricity, don't mess around. Let A&P do it for you.
Commissioner Mike Francis knows oil and gas because he lived it. Mike worked the fields and built one of the most successful oil service companies in state history. On the Public Service Commission, Mike's doing the hard work again. Oil and gas is our #1 job creator and our largest user of electricity. Big electric monopolies plan to spend billions on new power plants. That would raise your electricity bill by 50%. Would hurt your family and hurt oil and gas. Oil and gas has a solution. They want to invest their own money in power generation, so we don't have to. That means more power, more jobs, and no extra cost to you. President Trump and Governor Landry are pushing a conservative agenda to grow oil and gas and protect jobs. Now Mike Francis can join them by exploring free market solutions that keep rates low and help our largest job creators. Thank Commissioner Francis. Visit AmplifyLouisiana.com to learn more.
Paid for by Amplify Louisiana.
These are all the things you would hear upon getting in.
If people check us out on Facebook now, they can see why I say I got a face for radio. Here we go. Yeah, that's so much better on my hearing it now.
This thing on. This thing on. Look at here. I got something I want to say.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. What an honor. Great to be with you. We are here in Baton Rouge today in conjunction with our good friends at Talk 107.3 FM. By the way, for you Facebook followers, John's over there laughing. Now you can, right now, we're on Facebook for these 2 hours. Our good friends at 107.3 FM's Facebook. You can go check us out. So if you wanted to know why they say I got a face for radio, you can find out real quick by going to Facebook, Talk 107.3. There's some guys back in Lafayette want me to start doing this on Rumble Live every day. So that's just some things we're looking at. But you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. And I'm going to hear the comments now, face for radio. I need to stay on the radio. Well, some people don't think I ought to stay on the radio, but stay on the radio and stay off the tube. But anyway, Facebook, Talk 107.3 FM, our good friends at Guarantee Broadcast, and very grateful to Gordy Rush and all the staff here for giving us this opportunity. And so I'm waiting for, I don't know what happened. I don't know if we got our wires crossed, but I had gotten a text back from Liz Merle, our Attorney General, saying she could be here at 9:15. So we're kind of running late, or she's tied up. But if I hear back from her, she's more than welcome. I hope she shows up. I got timed about 10 o'clock for her if she shows up. The other thing, folks, we had a point to where if we're going to see any, and this is what I would tell the lawmakers, All these people that want to run for re-election, run for another office. I think everybody knows, I've been reading about it, we've been talking about it so long about insurance. It was one of the main things that every representative and senator and governor and everybody else said insurance is the most important thing. If it's the most important thing, don't you think a 2/3 House Republican, 2/3 in the Senate Republicans should make it the main thing by passing things that really work? I have nothing against trial lawyers. I don't. The big political ones that get involved and spend so much money trying to buy everything, those are the ones I have problems with. And I just don't know what they're going to tell people if there was not an effort to change stuff. Now, one of the things you got to be careful is there are a bunch of Republicans that are trying to change stuff. Cameron Henry ain't one of them. Greg Jeffries is not one of them. I don't know if it's Greg. Am I saying this? I might even be saying the dude's name right. They're not the ones that are trying to do anything to change because it's in their hands. They could change it if they want to. Greg Miller, that's what I'm talking about. Greg Miller don't want to change it. Greg Miller said the other day in the newspaper, we want to pass legislation that will actually help people, then pass it. You're sitting on a committee to make this happen, and yet you don't want to make it happen. Does that make sense to y'all? I want to quote, we want to pass legislation that will actually help people, okay? You can help us by lowering our rates. Whatever it takes to lower the rates. People, you and me really don't care how they do it. We want it done. He says, I don't want to have a situation where we put something on the governor's desk that it doesn't want. The governor said he's going to sign whatever y'all sent him. He said, we're not here just for show. Well, you don't look like you're here to fix insurance rates because you're not doing it. To me, Greg Miller is there for show. He's bought off and paid by the trial lawyers if he's not going to fix this. And I'm not talking about all of them, just the political. So I don't understand. I stand up and say, I'm here to help the people. Okay? Help the people. How hard is this? Help the people then. You here to help people. That comes out of your mouth. Help the people. Lower my insurance rates. Get the car insurance business, coming back in here and competing. That's how you do it. You don't do it by beating good legislation down. We let these people get away. I ain't going to say murder. That's not. We let them get away with everything. I remember the late C.B. Ferguson. He was a big Republican. He went and spoke at a Republican function in Jefferson Parish one time. They like to ran him out. You know why? You know what he did? They had a day where all these representatives stood up and talked about how great they did, how great they were, and the conservative things they voted. CB came behind him and said, he started mentioning them by name. Senator so-and-so, Representative so-and-so said this. Let me give you his real voting record. He would list the voting record of all the taxes they voted for and all the regulations they put on people and all the deals they cut. And he would go down every one of them. And this Republican Party group got mad as hell at CB, not the elected officials. They got mad at CB. Why? CB told the truth about who they really were and who they really are. They got mad at Ferguson. Of course, Ferguson left the Republican Party. We got all these Republicans. They're out there patting themselves on the back how conservative they are. They got an opportunity to do what Greg Miller said, do something to help the people. When you going to do it, Greg? It's in your hands. Take a break. Be right back. Be started. Voting record. Yeah. Gone about TV used to put their voting records on it, and they'd go out there and talk about how conservative it was. When you looked at the voting record, they voted
conservatives
for
have been calling for real tort reform to finally crack down on billboard attorneys and lower insurance rates for Louisiana families. The Louisiana House listened and took action. In just 3 days, House Republicans passed 14 tort reform bills. By May 1st, it was May Day for the trial bar. The House capped general damages at $5 million.
Can you imagine getting in a wreck like my wife did? But a lady admits, it's in the report that my wife was doing this, and a lady just pulled out. Okay? So they pull him to the side of the road. He missed the police. It's my fault. I had kids screaming. Whatever, that's fine. My wife told him, man, don't worry about it. I'm going to be fine. You're fine. Your baby's okay. That's all my wife cared about. She said, let the insurance do all that. So it's not a bad deal yet. But could you imagine now all of a sudden we get a lawsuit from an insurance company or a law firm suing us for what? What do we do? And that's what happened to this other lady. Great. Do what? Oh, no, thank God, but they totaled the car. Somebody sound like somebody's coming. I don't understand. Liz has never done this to me. She is, when she says she's coming, she's usually early. I mean, I got Bernie at 10:30. Oh, I got enough information. It don't matter. I'll be interested about a year from now when this will be the month we go into the closed primary for the United States Senate and the Congress. You know, it's going to be cranked up come January. Usually you get into January, you slow down. But with Trump coming in, you never slow down. I don't understand the House. The teachers' unions beat the amendments back on giving them a raise. So they turn around giving them a raise. If you beat me on a raise I wanted to give you, why in the hell would you give them a teacher's pay raise? All I'm talking about. I'm not, look, I told them I wish they paid teachers $100,000 a year and get that off the table. Okay? Let's get it off the table. But I just think it's hilarious. The unions beat you. And the first thing you are is back saying, okay, let me give you a raise. Teachers' unions beat you. That makes sense. I'm trying to give you something, and you beat me, and so I'm going to go another way to give it to you. No, what I'm going to do is say, to hell with you. I'm not giving you a pay raise. It's a mind-boggling. I'm really kind of shocked about this, but Liz. She said, look, let me tell you what, huh? Yeah, when in Baton Rouge broadcast, if you want to come by. How about 9:15? Come on. I text her, where are you? I'm here. I'll tell them I'm here. Question marks. Which, by the way, I always prep for nobody. Oh my God, I don't even care if nobody shows. I done got to where I take very few phone calls. You listen to Matt and them, Matt, they don't take none. Because the phone calls are you're not getting calls from bankers and CEOs and all that. They don't have time, but they listen. They don't have time to do all that. The guys you're going to get the calls, the guys got nothing to do and all day to do it. I do take a few. Walker screams at him. Man, Walker's hard on my calls. He won't let nobody go through. Okay, here we go.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Griffon Show on the road in Baton Rouge in conjunction with our good friends at Talk 107.3 FM, actually in their studio. I appreciate those guys and ladies that give me the opportunity to do this all over the state, but we appreciate them today. Also, you can check us out on Facebook for the day, Talk 107.3 FM Facebook, and you can see why they say I got a face for radio. Just, hey, AM. Smile. Now you know that you're not the ugliest person in the world. What you laughing at over there? You're laughing with me? You're laughing with me or against me? Oh, okay. Dad, did you go hang up and go, I'm laughing at you? Just like I'm laughing Liz Murrow didn't show up. I am shocked Liz didn't show up. Attorney General, Liz not only shows up, she always shows up earlier than she's supposed to. So I'm not going to throw her under the bus until she gets here. I'm taking it she ain't coming now. She said 9:15. So, by the way, if you're a guest on this program and you tell me you come in at a certain time, I would show up if I was you. I hate to dog somebody out like this, but I don't really mind. It's all in fun. All right, folks. Big day, insurance day. We'll see what happens. I want to bring up something else that was done the other day. So, Louisiana legislature, and Jack McFarland was on the show with Brian earlier today. The panel funds teacher pay raise and a surprise move. I'm kind of shocked at this a little bit. Louisiana House Budget Committee fully funded teacher stipends money for next year in a surprise move that previously seemed unlikely after voters rejected an amendment to the state constitution that would have freed up funding for permanent raises. Okay, Jack McFarland said he turned over every rock to find $198 million to fund 2,000 stipends for teachers and 1,000 for support. Ain't it funny how they just find a couple $100 million laying around just to spend? What I don't understand is if you go back to the amendments, when they go back to the amendments that were beaten pretty bad last year. No, was that last year? I don't remember when the vote was anymore. It wasn't in the fall. It was like early this year. And they were beaten pretty bad. That was just a couple months ago. It was in March. They were beaten horribly. The teachers' union led the charge against the amendment. The teachers' union, I'm saying unions, that don't mean it was all teachers. They were the ones that helped beat the amendment. I don't understand something. They were trying to give y'all a permanent pay raise, and you voted against it. And then the legislature, after getting embarrassed, that was an embarrassing amendment vote. I mean, it got walloped. Those amendment votes, they got destroyed. And the people that you were trying to help rally the vote against the amendment. And the first thing you do in the legislative session is turn around and give them some more money. For the life of me, I don't understand that. You were trying to pay off debt like the local governments that didn't have to pay on the debt anymore, turn that into pay raises permanently for teachers, and they help beat it, and you turn around and give them some more money. I think it's a horrible bill. Before you get mad at me, you're a teacher. Don't get mad at me. I'm the guy that said I wish teachers made $100,000. Yeah, and I do. Get that off the table of where we can't hire nobody. They're not making enough money. Give them big money. Okay? So don't get mad at me. I would not have turned around and gave them a penny. I don't understand. As a matter of fact, my friend Scott McKay had an article in the Hayride a while back saying, no way do I give them a pay raise. And yet McFarland finds a way to give pay raise when they could have got their own pay raise. All they had to do was vote for the amendment. Now, mind you, check this out. So the Republicans end up buying on this one because the stipend started under Bell Edwards. Maybe it started last year under Landry, but I think it started under Bell Edwards. And it did, and that's why I believe they did, because they wanted to cut it out. But then the left would have started running advertisement, and with trial lawyer money, I'm sure. They were going to run advertisement that the Republicans cut $2,000 pay out of the teacher's pay, and they could have sold this pretty easy. That's the only reason this is being brought back. This is politics to bring it back. Yet They gave the teachers an opportunity to vote themselves a pay raise, and they voted the amendment down. So it's a game being played. McFarland even said, I still think we need to find a permanent revenue stream to fund the raise, but until then, this is what we would do. So instead of funding a permanent pay raise, I would fund none. Well, you'd get beat. Good, I'd go home. I'd be a different rep. I'm going to do what I think's right, believe I'm right. I'm going to fight for everything that's right, and I'm going to go home. And if I get beat, and they beat me because I voted teachers' pay raises down, well, you really didn't do that. You voted not to do stipends anymore. Folks, if the federal government cuts, like I think they're going to have to, because we're $37 trillion in a hole, sooner or later, they're not going to get this money anymore. But that is a funny thing, though. You vote against a pay raise, a permanent pay raise for you. You help beat an amendment. And you turn around and the Republicans are in a bind because they don't want to look like they couldn't teachers' salary. Because I saw an advertisement already when they said the Republicans are trying to cut $2,000 out of teacher pay. What's the difference? You give it to them. The only thing, the difference is if you're only getting a stipend, that's not going to count toward their retirement. They're still getting the money. But Moon, $2,000 ain't much. Depends on who's getting it. Personally, John, I think $2,000 is a nice little check. If I was to give you $2,000 right now, would you say, boy, Moon didn't give me much?
Right.
Would you do that?
No, of course not. Like, thanks, Moon. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, John, you didn't listen. I said, if I gave you $2,000.
Oh, well, that's what I would say.
I got two $1 bills now. I'll give you that. I ain't got a problem with it. Now that you can go, well, that ain't much. I agree with that.
Yes.
You can't buy a cold drink for $2.
Oh, no.
No, not in a restaurant. You can't. They're about 3 or 4. Yeah. So I don't understand. So the teachers unions bite you on the butt on an amendment you want to pass, and because of the politics of it, you don't want to look like you taking money out of their pocket. So we come up with stipends. We got to find $200 million a year now. Every year, you may as well make it a permanent pay raise. You got to find the money anyway. You got to find the money some kind of way to pay it anyway. What's the difference? Anyway, I just cannot believe they're giving them a pay raise based on what happened on the amendment. You know? McFarland had previously said he thought funding the full 2,000 was unlikely because the state faced a deficit. Okay, so anyway, they found the money some kind of way. Tell you what, folks, you can't change nothing if you don't change something. It's not going to jump up. Change ain't going to happen in the state of Louisiana until we make change happen. It's not going to all of a sudden we wake up one day and go, wow, look at all the changes in Louisiana. And you're going to find that to be true in this on this tort reform and these bills to lower insurance rates. What do you think? And you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. What happens if your insurance rates continue to go up next year, a year from now? What happens at the end of the session? They all claim victory, pat themselves on the back. And I think they will, and I think they'll say, we made a lot of strides. We made a lot of steps in the right direction. Okay? Unbelievable. All right. So Liz got tied up, said she can call in real quick. Walker, look for Liz to call in on the number. We'll squeeze in a segment. So look for Liz, Walker. Let's take a break. 844-766-6607. When we get back, hopefully we'll have the Attorney General on. Take a break. We'll be right back. All right, bro.
More than one of every 3 Louisiana.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show, Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. If you want to be part of the program, you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. We have the Attorney General, Liz Murrow, who some kind of way got tied up from the Moon Griffon Show. I tell people when they book with me, Liz, and I book them, and they come in late, they probably not going to like the consequences of me talking about them. So I ain't talking too bad about you, just a little bit. Anyway, thanks for being on the show.
What'd you say bad about me, Moon? What'd you say about me?
I forgot. I said so many things about so many people, Liz. You know, it's kind of like lying. You start lying too much. I can't tell you who I said. Anyway, good. You must be traveling a lot right now, huh?
I was traveling. I was with an organization that of attorney generals that did a rule of law delegation trip to Rome to meet with folks at the Vatican on human trafficking issues, and we also visited with folks at the embassy and the DEA on some international crime issues, and very interesting trip. And we were supposed to meet with the Pope, but he passed away right before the trip, and we did end up meeting with some high-level bishops, and the bishop who toured us around the Vatican has been to Louisiana. He had been to New Orleans and Baton Rouge and Lake Charles, working on collaborative human trafficking policy with us, which was great to hear. I think we were the only, one of the only states he had actually visited.
Let me ask you a question. I want to get into a bill you had mentioned to me you wanted to talk about, but everybody keeps talking about crime and crime. Is it getting better here? Are the numbers showing that we're getting better here? Are people starting to feel it or see it yet? Or is it just something that takes a really long time to get to where you want it to be?
Well, it does take time, but I don't think it takes a really long time. I mean, we are seeing a lot of improvements in New Orleans, and I think that's a product of more boots on the ground and accountability through the prosecutorial process. I mean, the formula for this is really not that complicated, but we have to be consistent in delivering justice and accountability. And I think that, that's the main thing that we need, is not a pendulum that swings back and forth, but consistent and persistent application of the law, and accountability when there's, criminal actions. And I think that's what you're seeing now in New Orleans, much more consistently. And so crime has gone down there. And, Baton Rouge, we're paying a lot of attention to Baton Rouge as well. I was sorry to see that the tax did not pass to provide some additional funds to Hiller Moore's office, because I think that they deserve it and need it. But, I'm certainly there and I'm going to do everything I can to provide assistance to his office as well. And then Shreveport, numbers are still high. And I think that, we've got to really target those areas where crime is high. And then we've got to target activity that we know is kind of persistent, drug trafficking, all of those the task force on violent crime has become a lot more active in our partnerships with the FBI and the federal government now that the Trump administration has come in. So, I think that it's positive on all fronts.
No, the only question I have is there anywhere in the state that you're having to fight to get stuff done, or you've been pretty cooperative? I know New Orleans started off a little iffy, but is there anywhere in the state where you're still fighting to get, I don't care if it's sheriffs, DAs, or whatever, to do what they need to do to get this under control, maybe a mayor or whatever?
I mean, yeah, I've still got issues. I had to sue the sheriff of New Orleans over her ICE policy. That shouldn't be hard. I mean, the policy conflicts with state and federal law. They never should have entered into a consent decree on that to begin with, and having to unravel it shouldn't be as hard as they're making it. Yeah, okay. I've got issues with juvenile court judges in Orleans Parish, and they're resisting some changes in some legislation that I proposed that would allow us to move cases, the venue of cases from juvenile court to a criminal district court, so that they can be handled same way they are in 95% of the rest of the state. But, it's a conversation, and I'm willing to continue to have that conversation. I'm just not willing to accept the status quo.
Yeah. I just figured you did. It's got to be, you got to work with 64 parishes. You got municipalities in the parishes. I mean, it's a lot going on. And I know Louisiana, we've been when all these lists we still ban on. I mean, we're all making some progress, but I'm just kind of curious. Let me jump gears. You want to flag a bill? You said House Bill 64. Tell people what House 64 does. Is this a good or bad bill?
I'm not sure which bill that is. I don't follow the numbers.
That's
the subject matter.
That's the one. Let me make sure I'm telling you this right. LDI, Temple, and them. They're thinking it intrudes on authority, but it's about blocking
that's
state
my
or local
sovereignty bill.
Yeah,
so
yeah, okay.
That's a consent decree bill. Super important bill. I mean, all that does is prevent agencies, boards, commissions, political subdivisions from entering into consent judgments that bind the state or local government into the future. You know, you have these officials who are temporary, right? They may not even be elected officials that sign these documents, and they bind a municipality or the state to very expensive commitments that are now contractually enforced by a federal court. It's not a good situation, and so all this bill would do is require approval of the governor and the attorney general before anybody can enter into a consent decree that has injunctive relief that's future looking. And you know, the Department of Insurance had kind of raised some questions about it, and I pointed out to them that already have the authority to intervene and supersede any state lawyer in a civil proceeding. And so the authority that they're asserting is not authority they have. I have that authority, not them.
I was going to ask you, so the pushback is what? The pushback is what? Because I know Lobby and some other people have talked about. What is the pushback that you disagree with?
Oh, well, look, Lobby misread the bill entirely. I mean, I had discussions with them a week or so ago. I think they perceived it as actually creating a cause of action that would allow the state to sue more businesses. I said, that's not what the bill says. It does nothing of the sort. It's about when the state is sued, not the state suing.
Okay.
My ability and the governor's ability to block a consent decree is about when we've been sued and somebody's trying to tie the state or local government to a consent judgment, like the Orleans Parish Prison or the Orleans Police Department or or Angola. We've got like 3 cases pending against Angola where they were trying to force them into consent decrees. We've managed to fight that and win, but it takes a long time. And I think sometimes the agencies, the boards, the commissions, DSAG is a good example. They just get beat into submission, and the government can do a lot of the beating when it wants to. So under the Biden administration and the Obama administration, they very aggressively were going after school boards, for example, in DSAG, and I got involved, Jeff got involved, and we've been defending them so that we can help them have the resources they need to fight. Okay,
so this is a bill that you want to see passed, correct?
Absolutely. Okay. It's a hugely important, it would be a great advantage. It would be a super important bill to protect the taxpayers of our state.
All right, Liz, appreciate it. God bless. Best of luck. We hope to hear from you soon.
Thanks, man. See you
later.
Liz,
thank you. All right, folks, that's it. We got to take a break. I want to thank Talk 107.3 FM for allowing us to come broadcast in Baton Rouge. And, of course, you can check us out and see my mug on Talk 107.3 FM. Hope I don't scare you. We'll be right back.
Town Square Media.
Mike shot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon show on the road in beautiful downtown Baton Rouge with our good friends Talk 107.3 FM, actually on Facebook on Talk 107.3 FM. I like when somebody says, I didn't think that's what you look like. John, you're going to laugh, though. Through my career, through my career, remember I started in this business at 32. You notice my old gravel voice has been deep like this for a long time. You get on the radio and you start growing, you get around and people don't know what you look like. Okay. First of all, I like to know how many times somebody thought, and when I was 32 to 35, that I was an old man. Then when they saw Rush Limbaugh, a big guy, they always thought I was a bald-headed, 290, 300-pound, short man. Oh yeah, but here's my favorite one. Thought you were black. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I know you know where I'm from, North Louisiana. I'm a mixture of everything. The way I pronounce some things, I can get it. I understand it. Yeah, I am. I'm like a gumbo, man. I'm a big mixture of everything. But it's kind of funny because. I tell you what, I'm going to go back to my good friends at KSYL 970 AM in Alexandria because I've done remotes everywhere. And this was hilarious. One of the biggest remotes I ever did. And I don't know how many showed up. We were at Roly Poly's in Alexandria. Okay. Real nice guy. Started a restaurant. They wanted us to do a remote. And that thing had people. It was right around the Senate race of Mary Landry. And that thing was packed out. They had people in there, outside, people in and out. But here's what happened. People would walk in. It was mostly women. I don't know why. It was mostly women. They would walk in, and you could see one of the people at the radio station. They would go. Somebody would come in. I'm doing the program just like I am now. Microphone, headset, just kind of looking up. And these ladies mostly would walk in. You can see the salesperson would point to me, and that's him. And they would do this. They would drop their jaw. Like, that's what this dude looks like. And then they would leave. So my motto used to be, because I've been around a little bit now. I've been traveling all over. My motto used to be, basically that I look better than you thought I was going to look. Okay. So that was the only thing I ever looked better in, was that I looked better than you thought I was going to look, because on the radio, what is people, and this would go for you, Brian Haldane. Oh, absolutely. Anybody in the radio business. Yep. You think of something what they look like, and then you see the reality, and 98% of the time it's not even close.
Right. How tall are you?
6'5". I'm 6'5", 240 pounds. I mean, I'm
like 4'5".
Yeah, no, you're not that small. But no, the point being is that, I'm a big guy.
Right.
And I think I'm a big guy compared to, but they're big guys a lot bigger than me.
Oh, for sure.
So then they said, man, you don't look nothing like I thought you did. It was the black thing. It was the old guy. It was the big, heavy-set guy.
Yeah.
And so if they think I was a black, bald-headed, heavy-set old man, I think I look pretty good compared to what they thought.
There you go. There you go. You gotta get someone to draw a sketch based on your voice. Just draw some sketches.
Oh, that's what we should have did that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It's too late now. But we should have did that back in the early days and said, hey, I want you to draw a sketch or send me a picture of somebody you think I look like.
Oh, man.
Boy, would that have been fun?
Man,
I didn't think about it. Where were you when I needed you?
You might have had a Carl Winslow right there.
Oh,
someone might have sent in some pictures of Carl Winslow. I think this is what he looked like.
That would have been a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't think about it at the time. I wish I would, because I was in my 30s.
Of course.
Of course, I'm 64 this Friday.
Oh, wow. Well,
yeah.
happy
early birthday.
birthday.
I'm expecting a lot of presents at the station.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm expecting. But that ain't going to happen.
Right.
Anyway. All right, folks, 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. You know, I keep looking at these headlines of, with poor education and infrastructure, Louisiana ranked worst state by the U.S. News and World Report. And I can't get that out of my mind because it's so frustrating that the best state, the state that could be by far the best, okay, is last in anything. It blows my mind. And, you know, they looked at 8 categories: healthcare, education, natural environment, opportunity, economy, crime, corrections, and infrastructure, as well as fiscal stability with 50th. Now, you notice they didn't even put insurance in here. Maybe insurance is figured in economy. I guess it's the only thing it could be figured. It can't be figured in healthcare. But they're not looking at insurance rates on this. If they put insurance rates on this, we'd be 51st or 52nd. And I just wonder all the time, why do the people we elect, this is, by the way, best states of 2025, why out of all the people we elect, you can name a Republican, Democrat, whatever, do they not want to get off the bottom of everything? And to do that, you have to pass things that make a difference in people's lives. Insurance reform is one of the biggest things we got to have to make difference in people's lives. How can somebody like Greg Miller or the Senate President Cameron Henry not see this? Oh, by the way, I was told the trial lawyers they're in droves. Even Digger Earl showed up. Wow, one of them finally showed up to one of these meetings. I guess me saying they never show up, they finally showed up because I've been saying this for a while. They said the trial lawyers are there in droves, baby. Droves. Woo, the trial lawyers have showed up, baby. Is that not good? They showing up. Why? They want to keep making all this money. And most of them, especially the TV ones, don't care how much money, how much it costs for you to pay your insurance. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know they're there. They are there to protect their way of living. They don't want to make a living, and they don't want to make a lot of money. They want to make enough money for their grandkids' kids. Anyway, so I'm sitting here looking at the U.S. News and World Report, and I really believe in the heart and soul of especially the Diggers and the Gordons. They think that they need to keep everything so they can control every politician, every judge, and everything else involved in it. It's a shame. But they're there. Oh, you talking. Why are they even there? See, this is what's amazing. If I was the chairman, I'd say, all you trial lawyers, come on up. I'm going to let every one of y'all talk. I want to know what y'all would do to fix this. What should happen is somebody should ask Digger, give us your plan. They got him sitting there. Why don't they ask the trial lawyer, hey, tell us what we need to do that first, y'all can still make a good living. Number 2, insurance companies will come to this state to write business. And number 3, and the biggest thing is all these people that live in this state will have insurance rates lowered. And trucking companies will have their insurance rates lowered because let the trial lawyers fix it. They're all there now, but they're there to stop good legislation. See, I've been getting word that some of the Jude A was going to pass some stuff out of there. Boy, the trial lawyers are getting nervous. Oh, they getting nervous. You can't stop my money. I'm now working for my kids, grandkids. And you can't do this to us. Why? They show up. They never show up with any solutions. Let's see how many trial lawyers speak today that offer solutions to the problem. I would be willing to bet you there's none. I'd be willing to bet you none. I bet they're the best dressed people in the building today. Here I am, U.S. News and World Report with poor education ranked worse. U.S. News and World Report ranking the best states 2025. Louisiana came in last. When breaking down Louisiana's overall ranking, the state has also came in last at number 50 in crime and corrections, as well as economy categories. And we got the trial lawyers there today lined up with no solutions, not doing anything but trying to run good legislation that would take some money out of their pocket. And guess where they would put it, folks? They'll put it in ours. And they think their grandkids are more important. This is kind of amazing to me. I've never seen that. Digger and them have never testified. Of course, who was the guy from the microphone saying, where's Digger, where's Gordon, why ain't they testified? It would be your good-looking host, unless you're looking at me on Facebook right now or Talk 107.3, you would disagree with that statement. I could get away with it as long as I'm not on Facebook. John, I always say the good-looking host. I'm the only one that's ever called me good-looking. My mama never called me I was good-looking.
Oh,
I don't know. She loved me, though.
Yeah, yeah.
You know how sometimes people are attracted to just things that are ugly to some people. People think they're cute.
Right.
That was my mama. She thought
Pugs and Boston Terriers and
yeah,
things like that. You know, that's me. That's me. That's it.
So there it is, folks. Trial lawyers loaded up at the Capitol. Not to offer any solutions, by the way, to stop anything that would help you and me. Because remember, when the billboard trial lawyers are winning, the people in Louisiana are losing. And they're there to make sure they still win and you lose. Because they're not there to offer any solution. I guarantee you, if Digger's going to talk, Digger Earl would not offer one thing as a solution for fixing the problem. Guarantee you. He's going to talk about, well, we passed 237 tort reform law. Yeah, the ones y'all watered down, they're not even a decent step in the right direction, which I think that's what we're going to get at the end of the day. Trial lawyers celebrating and you and me going, wow, I wonder when we're going to fix this. So Digger's there. I'm glad Digger's there. Somebody ought to ask him from the committee. I say, Mr. I would ask him, if I was a committee chairman, you get to ask questions. Digger, how you doing? Good to see you. I want you to give me the 4 things we need to do to fix the insurance problems where y'all can still make money. Insurance companies will pour in here because they can make money. And the people back home will start getting deductions and breaks on it. Oh, I wish I could ask Digger the question. They probably won't, but I wish they would. We'll be right back.
Louisiana has the highest insurance rates in the nation, and it's no accident. Our broken legal system encourages frivolous lawsuits, driving up costs for hardworking families. While the House passed meaningful reforms last session to lower rates, those bills were killed in the state Senate because personal injury lawyers who profit from higher premiums have too much influence over senators. Meanwhile, Florida took decisive action, passing real lawsuit reform, and their insurance rates actually dropped. We need leaders who represent the people, not the wealthy billboard lawyers who get rich while we struggle to afford basic coverage. Call your state senator today and demand real legal reform, like Florida's, to lower insurance rates for everyone. Until they feel your pain, nothing will change.
Paid for by Louisiana's Future is now 501c4. LAFutureisNow.com.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's S-E-A like the ocean, S-A-F-E.com.
Oh, Shucks, you've been hearing me brag about Shucks. Been going there for many, many years. Shucks does a great job. If you like seafood, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. I'm telling you right now, there's shrimp, there's oysters, there's fish, all fresh every day right off the boat. So if you want something fresh and you want fresh seafood, you got to go to Shucks. Don't forget, if you're having a party, call Shucks. Let them cater the event for you, or you can go pick it up. Shucks, they're waiting on you. If you want a great time and you want great food, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. Shucks, oh, they're good.
As a business owner, you want your building to look the best it can. Here's Brad Price with CertaPro Painters.
A lot of times when it comes to commercial properties, it's about preserving, maintaining. More than residential's more about aesthetic, maybe a color change, maybe an accent color, maintaining, aesthetically looking good. That's the difference between residential and commercial.
Call CertaPro Painters today or visit CertaPro.com.
Have you recently cut a large check to Uncle Sam? How did that feel? If you're looking for a way to reduce your tax bills next year, especially if you're paying $100,000, $500,000, even more annually, listen closely. There are strategies used by the top 1% that can significantly reduce your tax burden. There are the same little-known provisions in the tax code that ultra-wealthy individuals and even members of Congress use. At Matthew James Tax Pros in Lafayette, they specialize in helping high-income earners like business owners, physicians, attorneys, contractors, and those in the oil and gas industry keep more of what they earn. If you're tired of writing 6- or 7-figure checks to the IRS, they'll show you strategies that could cut your taxes sometimes by half or even more. Call us today at 337-895-0TAX. That's 337-895-0829 or visit MatthewJamesTaxPros.com. Take control of your taxes. Start today to make next April a lot less painful. Every tax situation is unique and tax savings may vary.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
Mike's hot.
Hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. 844-766-6607 in conjunction with our good friends at I Guarantee Broadcasting 107 Talk 107.3 FM, actually broadcasting in the studio. You can check us out on Facebook. If you want to see, we'll see. So you can, and by the way, don't make no comments on how I look. I'm going to see you one day. I'll be able to make comments on you too. Anyway. We do appreciate it. Session. I am going to get to the session. I got some appointments I got to make sure I get to too. So we got all that going on. And of course, they hadn't started on the real bills yet, or maybe they just started. I could put it on my phone and watch it. You can actually go to the Jude A committee, Judiciary A committee in the Senate. Go to the Louisiana Legislative website. You can watch the whole process. You can watch the whole thing. Now, I will say this about the legislature. They might not get everything right. Let me back up. They might not get much right. But putting everything on the internet and stuff like that where people can see they got that right, because people can go tune in and watch the whole thing. The committee rooms are small. There's an overflow room that people are standing in and watching it. Trial lawyers are there to make sure they protect their own. But I'm going to tell you, these Republican lawmakers, I'm not worried about the Democrats, especially in Jude A. And Greg Miller's our problem. I mean, Senator Miller is the problem, and Cameron Henry's the problem. The Democrats are all going to vote against the people. The Democrats are going to vote against the trial lawyers. That's where their money comes from. Trial lawyers give Republicans some too. We know that. But you got 3 Republicans that are going to hang in there. But you got 3 Democrats and 1 Republican that's not going to hang in there. And that's really, unfortunately, part of the problem. So we'll see if they got the guts to get something changed. But if the trial lawyers, because I've heard that before, they coming to protect their money. They're not coming to make it better for the Louisiana citizens. Folks, if you're a trial lawyer, don't get mad at me. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about the ones that are political. I'm talking about the ones that get involved. I'm talking about the ones on TV. That's the ones I'm talking about, not you. You're just doing your job, going to work. I get it. I understand it. Good for you. I'm glad trial lawyers make money. But it's time for the people to get some of their money back. And if it's and by you got all his trial lawyers, especially Digger Earl. That's why I wish I was a sitting state, a state senator right now. Mr. Earl's welcome. Good to see you, Digger. All right, Digger, you here to fight this? How about this, Digger? When Digger walks up and talks, finally got Digger and them to come to the deal. Let's talk about, since all these trial lawyers are piled up over that. Here's all I want y'all to do. I want y'all all to sit down and tell us how to fix the insurance crisis to where y'all can keep making money. The insurance companies can start moving in here. And here's the most important thing is that people are winning and businesses are winning. Let Digger and them tell you the answer to that. I guarantee you that's not what they're there for. I bet you $100 right now, $100,000, they're not there to solve the insurance crisis. They're there to make sure they save their money that's going to them. They're worried about their livelihoods. They're not there for you and me. They're not there for the common guy. They're not there for the business people. They're not. They're not. But you got Digger Earl's going to testify. I've been saying for years, where are these guys at? They never show up, and all of a sudden Digger's showing up. Let's ask Digger how to fix it. He's a great one. He's spending all his money, naming buildings after him. By the way, I know Digger. I consider Digger a friend. I know him and LaBoard. I like being around. I like cutting up with him. I don't mind if people make money. I've never said, make all the money you want to. That's fine. How about don't make it on the back of the people who cannot afford their insurance? John, your insurance bill ain't going up none. You know the only one in the state got low insurance is you.
Mm.
You're the only one not paying high insurance bills, right?
Just me, huh?
Yeah, just you.
Just me. Okay. All right.
You're the only one.
It's good to know.
I would love, as a matter of fact, I'm going to make it down there. I got to go check it out. And they hadn't got to any of those bills that we've been talking about for the last 2 months. But sooner or later, they're going to get to some of the bills. And we'll see what they pass, and we'll see what's not watered down. But between Cameron Henry and Greg Miller, you don't have a lot of hope. I just don't. These guys are not going to wake up today and say, let's do what's right for the people. They're not going to do that. They're going hook, line, and sinker for whatever Gordon and Digger and them are telling them. And by the way, I still want to know. I don't know this. It's been alleged. Is the Senate president on Gordon's payroll? I think this is a legitimate question. By the way, I'll make it fair to everybody. While you're looking to see if he's on the payroll for Gordon, see if my name's on there. That way you can look for somebody else. When we get back, Bernie Pence and I kind of fill us in a little bit on what's going on, what he's hoping is going on. All right, we got to take a break. You're listening to Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Don't forget Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. We're here at Talk 107.3 FM. Kind of cool. They could set the studio up with me now, and I appreciate them. Guarantee did that for us, and I'm humbled and appreciate those guys. By the way, we're on. I'm just telling you, Bernie, we're on Facebook. So I told people, I got a face for radio. Now they can see why I got a face for radio. Bernie Pistonat joins us. Hey, Bernie, before we go to a little bit what's going on in the session, I-49, you were with Bennett Johnson. I told you that before. Sorry to see someone die. I don't know. Bennett's had a little age on him, and he's lived a full life. But we were talking off there about I-49, which that's when he was a senator, when all that stuff was happening.
Yeah, he actually moved money around. Remember, there was 2-lane, 4-lane, dangerous, and he made that his cause celeb project. The fruition was him being able to move money around. It modernized. You can look at it. We spent a lot of money, but look what it did for Alexandria. Look what it did. It tied in Shreveport. By the way, the parish president of Lafayette, Monique, has endorsed it. But a group of us are going to we'd like to see the highway named after U.S. Senator Bennett Johnston.
Well, and I hate to ask you this. What's the process with that? How do you get the name? Is it a long process? You got to get the president to approve it. Congress approves it. How's that work?
Well, I'm just starting to work on the project, but you're talking about getting mayors and others to say that they think it should be done. I think the mayor of the parish president of Lafayette, sending a letter out saying that she would like to see it done. Those type things that'll get it done. I think it'll eventually get done, but some of the people who were close to him originally, we think he deserves it. And Bennett is, as you noticed when he passed away, was a very popular senator. People give him credit for modernizing the way we got money into the state, our universities, all those things. So anyway, it's a tribute that we think he deserves.
Okay, we'll see what happens. All right, Bernie, it's D-Day in the Senate. A lot of focus. I think you're going to agree with me. There's been a lot of pressure put on the Senate to do something about insurance rates. Now, I don't think all the bills are coming up today, but there's some big bills coming up today.
Yeah, I think there's also activity on insurance tomorrow again. I could sit here and say that you and I last program, we said if you want insurance, your rates reduced. It was a great program. I had a lot of people comment
about what, move out of the state.
Move out of the state, which is horrible for both.
It's horrible. It is.
It's horrible for both of us to even do that.
Bernie, we laughing at it because we don't want to say that. But by the way, it's sad, it's horrible, it's funny, but there's some truth in it too.
Well, if you look at reality of what happened last year, I mean, we had a bill last year and the governor vetoed it. We had other bills and it didn't get out of the Senate committee.
Okay, what changed this year, Bernie?
So we also have a history we're working from. We also had the last year where, except for polling data that was run and other people, you would have thought that a lot of people in this state who are responsible, they never talked about insurance. And then all of a sudden, we had an election that blew up when constitutional amendments were slam dunk dead. Then all of a sudden, people said, "Well, maybe they're mad at us because we haven't done anything to fix problems that affect their daily lives." It's like the Democrats woke up and Trump won because he was talking about helping families versus all the other issues that Democrats are stuck on. So that's what you have going on in the session. It's bringing a lot of pressure. I'm not optimistic, but I'm hopeful that there are people in that building that understand the importance. We also we got a governor that's been very progressive on trying to change things in Louisiana. His position has been neutral. I'm not sure that'll get the job done when it comes to trial lawyers, because I can assure you that Bernie Pistonat spent a lot of time and effort with Governor Mike Foster. Then we declared the trial lawyers the evil empire. And by the way, when it was finished, Foster got everything he wanted. And by the way, it was sitting at 78% popular.
Yeah.
If you want to be popular in Louisiana, I got news for you. Attack trial lawyers. And I'm not saying we should, but let me remind, in elections last year, trial lawyers spent maybe
at 2023.
They spent, God, I don't know, millions and $1 million plus and didn't win anything.
No.
They lost all the Senate seats they were heavily involved in. So I'm not advocating we need to do away with trial lawyers or anything like that. It's just that they're infringing on, in my opinion, and I'd say a lot of voters, my ability to have my cost lowered is primarily, I'm going to say, because Louisiana, they can't deny it. We are the most lawsuit nutty state of the 50. We'll file lawsuits all day, every day. And here's the plan. Okay, if I file 500 lawsuits, I only need to have 1 or 2. They don't care if there's any merit to it.
Yeah.
They're just looking for odds. Yeah. It's like going to Vegas. So, but Louisiana is a little and truly, you could look at Louisiana as throwing dice or playing a slot machine. If you get enough, if you play enough, you're going to win it. You'll eventually win. The odds are stacked against you, but one of those suits. So it's a home run if you hit that type of suit. But anyway, the bottom line is that's not what's important right now. What's important is we get a win for the ratepayers and the voters and the citizens of Louisiana.
My problem with it, Bernie, is that it's Jude A committee. We got 2/3 House, 2/3 Senate Republicans, governor, everything's Republican. But in this committee, when they picked this committee, I lost my mind because I knew a lot of this stuff was going to go through. It ought to be 5 Republicans, 2 Democrats, not 4-3. And you don't put the chairman as the trial lawyer, even though he's a Republican. Well, and I'm talking about Mr. Miller. And so that upset me immediately because this committee was not made for insurance reform. This committee was made to protect the trial lawyers. And
right.
You may tell me I'm wrong, but show me, because you got 3 Democrats who ain't never going to vote right. And then you got Miller, who seems to be in the pocketbooks of the trial lawyers.
He's a trial lawyer.
Yeah. So really it was a horrible committee. 2/3, Bernie, would have been 5-2.
Well, did the poll I run, I had a question there. You and I talked about it. Did it say that Louisiana voters thought that Greg Miller should be the chairman of that committee?
No, not at all. Not even close.
And, in the group that was adamant about it, Governor, anyone else who's listening, the group that's adamant that I shouldn't say, I should say the president or the committee chairman, the people who are most adamant about it are the people that put them in office. It's called Republican voters.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at them and they think it's you cannot, they are like, no, they didn't really do that. You can't, how could they do that? Yeah. But unlike Democrats, Republicans are always looking to give the other guy a break at their expense, even at the voters who put them there. Okay, let's try to work with the Democrats, which is a joke. I worked for a U.S. Senator who was a Democrat. Let me explain something to them. We never cared what Republicans thought. We were about winning.
Bernie,
that isn't
Bernie,
the case
this is what I've always said. When Republicans won everything, 2/3, they didn't even have to say good morning to a Democrat.
Yeah.
They didn't. They could walk by and say, I'm not talking to you. Get out of the way. And don't get me wrong. I'm saying it in jest, but you didn't have to. You got everybody you need to pass everything you want. And here we are fighting the most important thing and the most important issue in decades. And we don't even know if we're going to get any of this stuff passed to make a difference because the Capitol is full of trial lawyers right now. Full up.
Well,
they're going to have, going to be one more talk show is going to be over there too in a few minutes. I'm going to check it out.
Well, anyway, this is I think you say this is a critical 2 weeks. All of the public pressure, all of the public scrutiny is now directed towards the Senate. We all knew that the House would do what they did last year, which they just recommitted themselves, went back through the same process. They've added a few bills, but it's basically the same approach by the House. The House has already done this.
No, I got it.
It's up to the Senate.
Let me take a break, come back, talk a little bit about the House because they did their job, but they've been doing their job. Let me take a break. We'll be back. Bernie Pinson will stay with us for this last segment. And I'm going to run over there. I just want to go watch. I don't want to say nothing. Nobody even got to talk to me. Just want to go see what's going on. Anyway, We'll take a break. Be back. You're listening to the Moon Performance Show. Like, and it may never be the same. I just want to let you know that you probably changed my life, not necessarily good.
Really?
Yeah, probably
What?
not necessarily. Because now they know
Come
what I look
on.
like.
Oh, come on. Ratings might go up now.
Hey, when I went in there and I didn't talk, nobody ever knew. But when I start talking, it's all over. Bernie Pinson, I'm a special guest. So, Bernie, really this whole session, budget's going to be important too. Still concerned about that as well because I don't see all the cuts that I think ought to be. And then we don't know what the feds are going to do. You can set a budget out and the feds decide they're going to cut something in Medicaid or whatever. You got a problem. And I wonder if that's going to affect this session more than the insurance is going to affect it. Because right now, the insurance, it's all about insurance.
Well, it's dominating the session as well it should because it's the issue that people care about. And it'll define, by the way, what the governor and the legislature, what kind of grade they get. It's not going to be defined by the budget or the programs or that stuff. It'll be defined by insurance. But as you and I know, there are other things that are important. Funding of the Gator. We've got problems. We still have problems with some of the charter schools and the private schools and the Catholic schools and all the other stuff. The governor is making progress on business taxes. He made a big effort, hit a home run for some of the businesses, most of the businesses on getting rid of some of the taxes. So there's a lot of ripples in the water that are moving in the right direction, I guess you'd say. But the tidal wave is insurance, and you got to get that moving in the right direction. But the governor and legislature, if they can hammer out something and fix that, then I think you're going to see Louisiana residents and the legislature and everybody else getting along much better. We need peace and stability.
Bernie, if they would let's say they get this done, and we're really going to see some rate decreases. Is that a rate decrease like 2 months, 6 months, a year? Anybody ever talks about when you would see this? I don't ever hear anybody talk about that. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, I think you got 10,000 lawsuits that are sitting there have been filed.
Yeah.
And those lawsuits are under the old laws.
That's all?
Huh?
That's all?
It's more than 10,000.
That was probably for the week, Bernie.
Right. So
but I know people, they got to be able to see it. So if they don't get anything done, then you try again next year.
Well, I think within a year and a half, as you look at the legal climate, the lawsuits, the judgments, are we realigning the judgments to reality? Am I going to read like the lawyer in Baton Rouge, whoever he is, who bragged about getting a driver $10 or $12 million and got each kid $1 million or $2 million? Well, his whole life, I hate to say this, and I'm not worth it. I'm not interested in somebody bragging about they got $12 million for this guy, and he might make $400,000 in his lifetime.
Yeah.
So what kind of, we're talking about pain and suffering. So as long as that kind of stuff goes on, yeah, you better move out of Louisiana, because that trial lawyer who was bragging about that in the Advocate, he really is part of the problem and has no sense of PR, or does he really care about mom and pop who can't afford insurance? And if the kids go to school and they need a car, I mean, they got to give up just about everything. But a lot of trial lawyers don't really care. So the question is, will we see a change in attitude with lawyers, with claimants, with the insurance companies? Maybe the insurance companies need to fight harder on some of these cases. And you and I are not sitting here saying that trial lawyers are not to blame. Everybody's got to take what comes out of this and do a better job with it.
But Bernie, I'm concerned about the business side of this deal too, because there's got to be some breaks for these trucking companies.
Oh,
I had somebody tell me they wanted to start a trucking company. They're going to start with about 250 vehicles. They said they can't do it right now. They might have to go start it in Texas. I had another one that has businesses all over the state. They got 320 trucks.
Well, I think
you know what he told me? He told me this 2 weeks ago. He said, man, I hope they're going to do something with this. He said, my insurance just went up 20% again. 320 trucks. 350, whatever. That's a lot. That's a business.
Well, you got truckers who you got people and truckers, and the thing in Slidell is people are moving to Mississippi and driving into Slidell to go to work because it's so much cheaper.
Got a buddy of mine has a company in Shreveport, in the Lafayette area in Texas, and he said it'd be so much cheaper if he just put his corporate office in Texas. And I said, why aren't you? He said, I didn't say I wasn't, but I might.
I think that we can count on by the election. You'll start having new stats to deal with. You'll start having look at the number of lawsuits and how they're being handled this day forward. That gives State Farm and Allstate and all of them a picture of what is there really a change that we can count on. They're not going to give us. They're not going to lower our rates if nothing changes, obviously. But I think you'll get a picture of there's hope. If they see progress on where we're moving in the stats, or they know that they can be settling 5,000 less lawsuits. Well, sure, they know that'll
help. That's going to help tremendous. Bernie, why you think all these trial lawyers are loaded up in the Capitol? You think that'll tell people how to fix the insurance crisis?
No,
or you think that'll make sure they don't lose one penny in what we're doing now?
I would vote for the one penny. Look, let me tell you something.
I promise you, with Dick Earl, who I know gets on stage, he gonna say, "Hey, let me give y'all how to fix this. If y'all write this down, let's do it." I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, most of them need to hire PR people because they obviously don't have a clue. I guess they become so rich or so entrenched in what they do. They don't understand that. I have people say, I have a trial lawyer lives down the street from me. Can I do something about him? I mean, I literally get that. It's Bernie. People, know me and they talk about trial lawyers. If you're sitting there, you get on the Advocate or television and you're bragging about some guy, I just got him $15 million. You know what the average person, this isn't 1932.
Yeah.
They know that I'm paying for that.
Yeah.
I'm paying. You just did what? That's what they,
it's a shame the average citizen paying for insurance is paying when they get on the truck and start saying, I've got $3 billion from my customers. Well, they got $3 billion from who? You and me.
Look, Benny Johnson used to tell people when we'd be in speeches in other states and they heard about Louisiana, and he said that with BATON ROUGE, let the good times roll. He said in Louisiana, he would talk about Mardi Gras. He said, everybody in Louisiana expects something for free.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Mardi Gras I always call it a Mardi Gras economy here. Throw me something, mister. Throw me something for free.
Well, Bennett used to make fun of Louisiana because that's our attitude, and it projected statewide, and the audience would laugh, but it wasn't funny.
You mark my word, the guy that jumps off the building on the commercials to the truck, one day he's going to hurt his knee, and he's going to sue the building for being too high in the construction company. Then he's going to sue the truck company for their roofs being too hard.
Well,
he's going to sue both of them, and he's the one jumping off the roof.
Well, look, you have people say Japan has 80 million people and they got more lawyers than we do. I don't know if that's true or not, but I bet it's pretty close to being true. Louisiana is so upside down on lawsuits and lawyers. We really need to, if you want to do something in Louisiana and you're at a university, you really need to shut your law schools down for 5 years, because it's not fair to lawyers. When you pump them out every year, you got more than the system can handle. So what do? They end up filing lawsuits. They're all looking for the next paycheck on an automobile wreck. We really need to shut the law schools down for 5 to 8 years and no more licenses, period.
Yeah. Well, we don't need another law school, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's the first step. You really need to shut the law schools. I mean, literally close them.
5 years, that'd be pretty good. Bernie, always a pleasure. I'm going to head to the Capitol for at least an hour or so and just kind of stick my head around the corner. Hopefully nobody will knock it off.
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go measure the temperature, you and I don't need a thermometer.
No,
it's pretty hot over there.
Bernie Pence said, all right, got to take a break. God bless you. I have an awesome day.